Jack, the dark clown of New York, a tale that should never be told aloud. New York never sleeps, but in its deepest, most forgotten alleys, something hides in the darkness, something that not only watches, but waits. Jack wasn't a common name. Among the city's inhabitants, he wasn't in the newspapers, he had no official records. But ask the drunks in the run-down bars of Brooklyn, ask the beggars who slept near the abandoned subway tunnels, and they would look away, muttering only one thing: never say his name aloud. Some would make the sign of the cross, others would back away as if you had just cursed them. But one thing was certain: the silence that followed wasn't from ignorance, but from pure fear. Because Jack listened, and Jack remembered. And when you spoke his name, he remembered you too. Ethan Crowley didn't believe in ghosts. He was a journalist, a man of logic, living in a world of facts and numbers. When he received an assignment about an old urban legend that haunted the forgotten alleys of the city, he saw it as just another story to fill space on the Paranormal Investigations blog. Cheap clickbait to attract the curious. But something bothered him from the start. Every source he interviewed refused to talk. The owner of the antique shop in Hell's Kitchen gave him a look of pure terror when Ethan mentioned the name Jack. An old taxi driver simply sped away, and the homeless woman in the subway underpass began to laugh softly, as if he had told a joke. He likes the skeptics. He gets into your head first. That phrase followed him home. He tried to laugh it off. It was just a legend. But that night, as he went to sleep, the laughter began. Ethan's apartment was a cold cubicle in the Lower East Side, lit only by the flickering neon signs of the city. He collapsed onto his bed, exhausted, but sleep never came. At 2:37 in the morning, a noise echoed from the hallway. Laughter, low, distant, vibrating through the walls as if someone was laughing at a dream only they understood. A wet, hesitant sound, as if the laugher's lips were cracked. He got up slowly, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. He looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, but still the laughter continued. He checked his phone. No messages, no calls, but the screen lit up with an audio notification. No sender. He hesitated. His finger hovered over the screen. Then he clicked. The recording lasted exactly 13 seconds. The first 5 seconds were absolute silence. Then a sound began, low, almost imperceptible, like something scratching the bottom of a well. And then came the laughter. It wasn't human. It was a dry, crackling sound, like rotten vocal cords trying to mimic joy. The laughter grew, vibrating too loud, too close, until, in the last second of the recording, a voice whispered, "You've said my name, Ethan. Now I exist for you." The recording ended. Ethan threw his phone away. His heart raced. He ran to the door, locked all the locks, turned off the lights. But when he turned to the living room mirror, he froze. There was something there, in the reflection of the stained glass. A pale face, empty eyes, and a smile too wide to be human. In the following days, Ethan stopped sleeping. He tried to ignore it, to rationalize it, but Jack was everywhere. In the reflection of building windows as he walked, in the subway glass, on his phone screen, mid-call, where the shaky image revealed a second face beside his own. Jack didn't attack directly. He didn't need to. He just made his presence known. And then came the whispers. First, in the silence of the early morning. Then, amidst the city's noise. Ethan would blink, And Jack would be there, standing on the other side of the street, waiting for the traffic light to change. He heard laughter inside the refrigerator when he opened the door, saw shadows dancing on the turned-off TV. Entire moments began to disappear. He would blink, and it would be another day. He found notes written in his own handwriting, but didn't remember writing them. Laugh, Ethan. You're in my show now. The show must go on. One night, Ethan woke up on the subway. He didn't remember how he got there. The car was empty. The lights flickered. The only thing he heard was background music, a scratchy, childish melody. And then Jack appeared. There, at the end of the car, sitting calmly, the pale face, the wide smile. And for the first time, Ethan saw his eyes, black, infinite holes. Something moving inside, something whispering in 1,000 voices at once, something hungry. Ethan tried to run, but his feet were glued to the floor. Jack stood up, took a step, then another. The car grew darker, tighter. The sound of the city vanished. The whole world was just that laughter. Jack stopped inches away from him, leaned in and whispered, "Do you know what happens when the show ends?" Ethan tried to scream, but there was no more sound. There was nothing left. The next morning, the police found an empty, powered-down subway car in the underground tunnels of New York. Inside it, only one bizarre detail: an old ventriloquist dummy seated on the back bench. In its mouth, a small recorder played, on an infinite loop, the same laughter, but this time there was something different. In the final seconds of the recording, a hoarse, tired voice whispered something beneath the laughter. It was Ethan. "Don't say his name. Don't say..." The recording hissed, and then Jack laughed. "Are you ready for the show?" Jack listens. Jack waits. And now, Jack knows who you are. If you enjoyed this story and want to feel the chill of darkness once more, share this tale with those who dare to face terror head-on. But beware, some stories should not be told aloud. You've already said his name. Now he exists for you. Follow for more dark tales.